Here we go. All right, the day of reckoning is upon us. Ghost Recon Wildlands Beta has been released. We're able to talk about it. There's no NDA. We can speak about Ghost Recon. Now, this channel has been notoriously known for giving it to Ubisoft, and not in a good way. I've released multiple videos talking about multiple trailers that they've released over this game, and honestly, everything that I saw, I wasn't impressed with. And you guys know that. Some people called it negative. One of the videos boosted up over 1 million views. Like, shit kind of popped off with Ghost Recon Wildlands. And we're nearing the time that the game is coming out, and Ubisoft has given us a chance to play the beta. Now, I want to talk about the things that I liked, and I want to talk about the things that I didn't like. And we're going to do this in a way that I don't think anybody can sit here and say that I'm biased or hating or whatever the case is. I'm going to try and do this 100% open-minded and unbiased. So let's start with the stuff that I did like. One thing I was very vocal about early on was the graphics in the trailers versus the graphics in the gameplay they showed us. It was obvious back then that they were downgraded. A lot of people were thinking that the gameplays we kept seeing, like we just saw a single-player trailer, and we saw a couple other trailers as well. Some people thought that they were going to be downgraded from those. And I gotta say, I gotta hand it to Ubisoft. The game doesn't look that bad. It's nothing to write home about. The parts of the game that really get me are when you're flying the helicopters and you're seeing the landscapes and the weather effects and the nighttime and all that. Like it looks decent. Like the landscapes look beautiful. I will say that. The character models and the vehicles, they don't look like they were polished enough, but the overall look of the game, it looks decent. And that's actually a surprise for me. I thought it was going to be downgraded more than what we had seen with the videos coming out. And yeah, the game is definitely not the worst that I've ever seen. So that's good. The weaponsmith system is fucking dope. Very intuitive, just, customizing, putting launchers on stuff and unlocking that stuff through doing side missions and stuff like that. It's good. Again, this is a small slice of the entire game, so it's not like we could see everything that the weaponsmith had to offer, but just going through and being able to change some of the attachments, it's dope. I loved weaponsmith in Future Soldier, and I love it here as well. The stylization of the UI, I thought when I first saw it in the trailers, I didn't like it. But actually, like, getting my hands and playing it and feeling around and seeing the words pop up and stuff like that, I actually like the style of it. Very easy to maneuver around the map. You right-click in the area, and you can see all the available missions. You can apply it. It just adds the checkpoints. Everything is fleshed out, and I feel like it's good at what it does, which is nice. Now, let's talk about the most important aspect of the game, and that's the gunplay. The one thing that I don't like about the gunplay is the fact that it snaps to first person when you shoot. Now, hold on a second, because they have installed a fix for the game. It's built in. You can set it to lock to third person aim, so you get this kind of like half-assed third person zoom in, which works well. And at that point, you can hit the X button and snap to first person on your own volition. So it's not every time you want to aim up, you snap to first, you get that third person zoom, and then you can control the first person snap, at your own free will. I think that controller layout, or that control layout, I should say, because I'm playing on mouse and keyboard, I think that should have been default. I think you guys should default that control scheme to where I hold the right click on the mouse, I zoom in, and then I hit X to go to first person, or whatever button you map it to. That should be defaulted. I don't like that instant snap to first every time you want to shoot. When you're in a position where you know, you just need a little zoom, and you don't want to go to that first person and have the gun blocking the screen. Sometimes it gets a little finicky, and I would much rather have that freedom of control. Now, it took me searching on a subreddit, because for some reason I couldn't see the control in the control options, and that was to switch shoulders. Like, I played the entire game not knowing how to fucking do it. And I guess it's set to middle mouse button, so I'm going to have to rebind that when the game comes out, because that's just a shitty control. But basically, the frustration, like, I couldn't see it in the control list. And I don't know why. Maybe I just missed it. Maybe because I didn't expect it to be on the mouse that I didn't look over there. I don't know. I feel like that should be an actual key on the keyboard. But I had to search on the subreddit to figure out how to fucking do it. Now, we had spoken a lot in the past about the storyline and how when you create characters, it doesn't really leave a good narrative-driven storyline at the table, because it's so tough. The cutscenes are going to have to be altered if you choose a different character, and you don't see games with extensive character customization have really good narrative-driven stories, and this is no different. I think that the story, just taking out Cartel, and I never actually thought of this until I was playing it here this morning, it gives me a Mafia 3 vibe. And if you guys remember what I said about Mafia 3, it's go here, kill a boss, or kill the boss in this area, interrogate him, move to the next one. Now, with Ghost Recon, it switches it up a little bit in the sense of you're not always interrogating somebody. You might have to pick something up, which gives you intel. But it's basically like, go here, do this, go here, and you're always just doing the same fucking thing over and over. Now, granted, in the beta, we were only able to play one area. But if you look at the single player and all the other trailers that they've shown off in different areas, taking out different bosses, it's the same thing. And to be honest with you guys, the game is just boring. The beta, like, it gave me little to no satisfaction. I wasn't engaged with what I was doing. I just the story and how it's breaking out it's just not interesting. And that's from my perspective. Again, this is an opinion video. You guys might enjoy what you're playing, which is dope. But for me, I played through it and I was like, okay, awesome. You had to kill the two guys in the basement. Sweet. Like, no really big memorable moments. Let's talk about the AI. The AI is very hit and miss for me. Sometimes they're on their game and they're moving around and they fucking destroy you. And sometimes they're derping around, just not knowing where you are and just sitting behind cover like a typical bad programmed AI. Is it better than Watch Dogs? I feel like the AI here is better than Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs AI was a huge complaint for me. I think that this is better, but it's still it's hit and miss. It's finicky. The voice acting and the dialogue is pretty cheesy. There's moments which actually kind of reminded me of SOCOM, when the soldiers in your unit are talking back and forth, and it brought me back to the days of playing SOCOM 2's campaign with, you know, Jester, Spectre, and War Dog and all that. So it's cheesy, but it's so that's such a minuscule issue, you know, that I think that anybody could really look past it. I want to talk about the absolute worst part of this game, and this is actually going to come to a surprise. It's the vehicles. This game, and you'd think, like, talking about Ghost Recon, vehicles shouldn't be the biggest deal, but with an open world game like this, the vehicles, you spend a lot of time in them. Whether you're driving or flying or riding a motorbike, you spend a lot of time in vehicles going from point A to point B. And the vehicles handle like shit. And I'm going to be completely honest. The vehicles are garbage. I've driven the Lamborghinis, I've driven Jeeps, vans, even the motorbikes. I just wasn't a fan of. They just handle very strange. The physics when they're going over bumps in the ground, it feels so arcadey, and not even in a good way. Like, sometimes games get that arcade driving down. It feels just unpolished. Watching the vehicles jump, and, like, because we have such open landscapes and you're going over mountains and stuff, when you end up, like, tumbling down a hill, you can just see the vehicles getting stuck on parts of the terrain, and it just looks unpolished. And there's gonna be some clips in the videos here. I'm just like, it's bad. When you fly the helicopters are probably the best part of the vehicles. It's still very arcadey. You know, just fly. You can turn left and right on a dime. Like, there's no physics. It feels like there's no physics to the vehicles. And I don't know if that's going to be changed, you know, come launch of the game. I really don't. I doubt it. I feel like what we have here is the game minus some optimization issues, which need to be solved, obviously. The game, when I tried to stream it, would spike my CPU to 100% instantaneously. And I know other people were having issues with the CPU spiking. It needs to be solved. The Division beta did the same thing, and then it was solved when the game came out. So I kind of have faith that they're going to solve that issue, but it just was not good. The overall game, and I'm going back to what I said in June of last year, and I said the game is going to be mediocre. And I get that feeling just playing it today. The game excels in some points, and like I said, the landscapes and the weather effects and the environments, they look good. You know, they're decent. But everything else about it, the third person shooting, the gunplay, the mission structure and how everything's laid out, it's mediocre. I went through the entire beta without applying a single skill point, which tells me that, yeah, the game is giving you the options to get skills and unlock stuff, but you don't really need it going into it. It's a choose your own adventure, right? It's a choose your own play style. And I would go in, we had suppressed weapons, and I would just take out camps like that. I didn't have the parachute when you could jump out of the helicopter. I never got that until I finished the beta. I never felt the need to get skills. You had the drone, you walk in, you destroy face. Now, obviously that might change in the future, but we're talking about the beta right now. The skills weren't needed, you know? So it feels like there's a lot of side objective stuff that's going to level your character and get you skills and get you abilities, but none of it is really necessary. And to me, that's typical Ubisoft fashion. Is this game worth the $60 based on what I've played in the beta and the alpha test? It's a tough question because there's so much content according to them. It's the biggest open world Ubisoft game that they've ever created. So the content alone might give people, you know, the thought, well, yeah, I'll buy it, and there's so much to do. For me, I'm already seeing a pattern with the mission structure. The gunplay wasn't really satisfying for me. And to be quite honest, when I'm running around the environments and I see the night vision come on and stuff, I get glimpses of Ghost Recon. But to me, this one is so far out of what made the originals what they were that it just kind of breaks my heart. I think this game is going to be good for people who are into games like Mercenaries 2 or Just Cause, or even and I've heard it thrown around for months now, Grand Theft Auto. But for people who are into Ghost Recon, I don't know. I really don't know. And that's what kind of irritates me, because I have another video coming out where I want to talk about a completely separate issue with the game, and I think you guys are going to like that too. That'll be coming out in the next couple of days. But for the overall feel of this, I don't know. It just I didn't think that this would be the route Ghost Recon went, and it's kind of just disappointing. But like I said, I think there's going to be a group of people who really enjoy it. The people who can look past some of the issues that I laid out in this video, and the people who aren't really into that tactical, methodical, more slow-paced, less explosions and stealing Lamborghinis type of gameplay that I think that I'm looking for. And that's unfortunate. I think if they would have called this Tom Clancy's Wildlands, I think it'd be a different story. but when you put Ghost Recon on the title, it comes with a set of standards that I don't think this game meets. For me. Again, this is my opinion. I want to know what you guys think down below. When the game comes out, I am going to be doing a full playthrough, a full review, and we're gonna look at it objectively and see. I get what the game is now, and I have to, at this point, you just have to look past it. You either hold on to Ghost Recon, what it actually means, or you look at this as a new page in the chapter. And that's what I'm going to try to do when the review comes out. I can't fault the game for moving on and moving into new territory, because that's the design that the developers wanted to do. I can express my distaste, but when we do the full review, I can't hold that against it. I have to judge the game based on what it is. And right now, even based on what it is, I feel like it's going to be an okay experience. Let me know what you guys think down below. My name is Big Fry. I know this video was a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. I kind of rambled a little bit, but I don't know. This one got me. Anyways, guys, shout out to the Fry Nation. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.